When it comes to figuring out whether someone's interested in you, women tend to play the game a little differently. Instead of being direct, they often rely on subtle, nonverbal cues, creating an air of mystery and a playful read-between-the-lines dynamic. These behaviors are intentional, designed to gauge your interest while keeping things casual and low pressure. If you've been scratching your head wondering, is she giving me hints, or am I overthinking this? Don't worry. You've come to the right place. Understanding these cues isn't just a gateway to potential romance. It's a window into emotional intelligence and building stronger dynamics with the people around you. Let's peel back the layers and uncover those small but powerful signals women use to gauge your interest. Are you ready? Let's break it all down. There's a reason why the phrase, "actions speak louder than words," runs so deep in relationships. Subtle cues and indirect behaviors hold a wealth of meaning, especially when it comes to attraction. For many women, being direct about their feelings can feel risky. Instead, they prefer nonverbal communication to see how you respond, creating a dance of sorts where mutual interest can develop naturally. For example, instead of openly saying, "I like you, let's go out," she might start by engaging in more frequent conversations, giving pointed compliments, or finding creative reasons to be around you. These actions may seem minor at first, but they're intentional. Why? Because subtle cues give her the ability to explore your dynamics while protecting her own vulnerability. This approach allows her to gauge not only your interest, but also your emotional awareness. The beauty of this language of subtleness is that it opens the door for connection without heavy expectations. Women understand that the safety of indirectness creates space for authentic responses, and once mutual interest is detected, things have a chance to grow naturally. Becoming aware of these signals doesn't mean becoming overly analytical. It's about tuning in to the unspoken narrative she's presenting to you. Spoiler alert, it's way more fun than decoding a crossword puzzle. Time is precious and, for many women, there's no such thing as a coincidence when it comes to creating opportunities to bond. If she's inviting you to hang out, especially in relaxed, low-pressure ways, that's your first clue she's interested in testing the waters. For example, she might suggest grabbing coffee after work or ask you to join a group for an event. While these plans sound casual, they're often strategic. A coffee hangout isn't just about caffeine, it's about carving out one-on-one time in a setting that feels natural. Group plans, on the other hand, allow her to observe how you interact in more social environments. She's paying close attention to your behavior and figuring out if she enjoys your company. Sometimes, opportunities arise through more creative means. Perhaps she asks for your help with something, a project, a recommendation, or even advice. Yes, she probably could figure it out on her own, but intentionally involving you gives her a way to spark conversation. For instance, "Hey, I hear you're good at tech stuff. Could you help me set up my new phone?" Isn't just a question, it's a doorway for interaction. Pro tip? Never overlook the effort it takes to make these moments happen. Women are often mindful of how they request time together, balancing subtlety with intention. If she's reaching out to you, she's hoping you'll meet her halfway and show that you also value her company. The key to nailing this dynamic is simple: reciprocate. Suggest your own plans, make an effort to engage, and show gratitude for the time she's carved out. Trust us, she'll notice. Humor is an incredibly underrated method of building rapport. Think about some of the most entertaining conversations you've had. How often were those filled with playful teasing or banter? For many women, humor is a secret weapon. It's a way to test compatibility, explore conversational chemistry, and set a light-hearted tone for further interactions. Here's the thing about teasing. It's rarely random. If she's poking fun at your quirks or cracking jokes at your expense, in a friendly way, she's likely testing your reactions. Can you roll with it? Do you fire back with your own clever joke? Or do you freeze up and take it the wrong way? These moments reveal a lot about your personality. A confident and playful response signals that you're comfortable in your own skin and, more importantly, fun to be around. Teasing also creates a sense of flirtatious intimacy. When two people can share laughter and not take themselves too seriously, it removes barriers, allowing for connection. For example, if she says something like, "Wow, are those your karaoke skills, or are you auditioning for a comedy show?" She's not just roasting your singing voice, she's inviting you to share a laugh, maybe even challenge her to a lighthearted karaoke showdown. It sparks a dynamic where both of you can explore each other's sense of humor. And here's the secret. Teasing is a two-way street. If you can reciprocate her energy with your own playful banter, you'll build a rhythm that feels natural and exciting. Just remember to keep it positive. Playful teasing shouldn't veer into criticism or hurt feelings. If done right, this exchange becomes a foundation of fun interaction that she'll want to revisit. Reading body language is like learning another language, a fascinating, intuitive way to communicate what words can't express. Women in particular are skilled at using these physical signals to convey interest while testing comfort levels. If you're not paying attention, you could miss out on some of the most telling signs of attraction. Picture this. She leans toward you during a conversation. Her body is slightly angled so she's fully facing you. She maintains consistent eye contact, sometimes lingering just a bit longer than necessary. Subtle. Yes. But these actions aren't accidental. Leaning in signals that she's deeply engaged in what you're saying, while eye contact builds a sense of trust and connection. Another common clue is mirroring. If you take a sip of your drink, does she do it shortly after? If you sit back and relax, does she follow suit? Mirroring behavior is often subconscious. It's her way of syncing with your energy as a form of connection. On the flip side, if you notice her becoming closed off or angling her body away, it could indicate uncertainty or discomfort in the moment. Even seemingly small actions, playing with her hair, adjusting her outfit, or brushing invisible lint off her sleeve, can be clues. These fidgeting gestures are indicators she's aware of your presence and may be nervous or self-conscious. Body language provides a visual storyline that words rarely capture. The more you observe and consider these movements, the clearer the message becomes. Planting seeds. That's the purpose behind women casually mentioning their future plans. These comments are more than idle conversation. They're testing your initiative and whether or not you catch on to her subtle invitation. For instance, she might say, "There's this indie movie showing downtown this weekend. It looks fun." Translation? She's wondering if you'll take the hint and suggest going together. Or maybe she brings up a cool hiking spot she's been wanting to visit. It's not just random chatter. It's a test to see if you'll express enthusiasm and take the lead by planning something. Future-oriented conversation also reveals subconscious hints about compatibility. Are you the type to pick up on social cues? Do you have an adventurous streak? Your willingness to engage tells her volumes about how compatible your interests and personalities might be. If you're genuinely intrigued by her plans, don't hesitate. Saying something as simple as, "That sounds awesome, can I join?" reinforces shared excitement without being pushy. These small windows of opportunity can pave the way for richer connection. While casual in tone, they're her way of extending the line. All you need to do is meet her halfway and see where the conversation and plans naturally unfold. A compliment might seem simple on the surface, but make no mistake, there's a lot going on beneath the surface when a woman goes out of her way to point out something great about you. Compliments are often her way of expressing admiration and gauging how you respond to her attention. And when they're given, they're intentional. She might say something straightforward like, "You look great in that shirt," or something. More specific, such as, "You really have a knack for solving problems." These remarks typically serve two purposes. First, they act as a subtle way of signaling that she notices you and appreciates your qualities. Second, they're an opportunity to observe how you react. A confident and warm response, like thanking her with a smile or playfully returning the compliment, tells her you're self-assured and receptive to her attention. The beauty of compliments lies in their dual function. They both communicate interest and invite connection. If she's mentioning specific details about your personality, skills, or appearance, you can bet she's paying closer attention to you than to others around her. Keep in mind that this doesn't necessarily mean she's head over heels. She's still feeling things out and testing how the two of you vibe. Your response also plays a major role in shaping the dynamic between the two of you. If you brush off compliments too often or become overly modest, it might come across as discomfort or low confidence. On the flip side, overreacting or gloating can come off as arrogance. The sweet spot? A genuine, balanced response that shows you're comfortable in your own skin. And don't be afraid to return the favor. If she compliments you and you've noticed something about her, her sense of style, humor, or even how she lights up a room, mention it. Mutual admiration creates a warm and positive feedback loop, bringing both of you closer together. Physical touch is one of the most powerful nonverbal signals there is. And when it's used subtly, it conveys a depth of interest while allowing her to assess your comfort level. Women often use fleeting gestures to initiate this type of connection. Small, unassuming touches that feel natural yet meaningful. For instance, she might touch your arm while laughing at a joke, gently nudge you during a playful moment, or give your shoulder a quick pat when walking past you. While these actions may seem casual or even accidental, they're usually far from random. Through these touches, she's not only building a sense of intimacy, but also gauging how you respond. Think of it as her way of testing boundaries, not in a confrontational way, but in a way that builds connection and trust gradually. If you lean into these touches or reciprocate subtly, without overdoing it, it signals that you're comfortable with the physical closeness she's initiating. On the other hand, pulling away or freezing up might suggest hesitation or discomfort. The key is subtleness. These moments are designed to feel light and unassuming, which is why it's so important to remain present and pick up on them. Overthinking or misinterpreting a small physical gesture can quickly shift the mood, so treat these moments as an opportunity to create warmth and rapport instead of making it more complicated than it needs to be. What makes light touches so effective is that they often happen within the flow of conversation or shared activities, making them feel organic. Over time, as comfort and trust grow, these small gestures can pave the way for a deeper sense of physical and emotional connection. Here's a truth that's often overlooked. Many women rely on subtle gestures because they carry an underlying need for emotional safety. Expressing interest outright means risking rejection, and for a lot of people, men and women alike, that risk can feel daunting. Subtlety offers a way to explore attraction while keeping vulnerability protected. When she asks for your help with a task, playfully teases you, or invites you to a casual hangout, it might all seem low pressure on the surface. But in reality, it's her way of stepping into a space of trust and seeing if you'll meet her there. Subtleness becomes a kind of safety net, allowing her to gauge how you respond without putting her emotions completely on the line. For example, she might ask a seemingly innocuous question like, "Do you think I should go for the more casual dress or the fancier one for this event?" While it appears to be a simple style query, it's loaded with layers. She's showing trust in your opinion and opening a window for you to complement her decision-making or perhaps her sense of style. If her subtle approaches are met with warmth, attentiveness, and reciprocity, it signals to her that you're someone who values emotional safety too, a crucial element for building any connection. Understanding this layer of vulnerability shows emotional intelligence on your part. It also reminds you not to dismiss indirect gestures as just random behavior, because for her, they might hold much more weight. Words are important, sure, but often it's the unspoken aspects of communication that carry the most significant meaning. Nonverbal communication, like body language, facial expressions, and tone, plays a critical role in how we understand and connect with one another. This is especially true in the early stages of attraction, where actions often speak louder and truer than words. Women often rely on these nonverbal cues because they feel organic, honest, and unforced. For example, a lingering smile might suggest interest far more confidently than a direct, "I like you," mostly because nonverbal communication is hard to fake. A woman's reaction to your presence, her physical movements, and the energy she brings to a shared space all contribute to the unspoken conversation happening between you. Interpreting nonverbal signals isn't just about attraction. It's about building better overall communication skills. When you become more attuned to reading these cues, you'll be better equipped to respond thoughtfully in all your interactions, romantic or otherwise. Pay attention to the nuances, the way her posture shifts when she's engaged, the brief but noticeable glance she gives before smiling, or her animated expressions when she's telling you a story. These small gestures often paint a clearer picture than the words coming out of her mouth. The ability to read and respond to nonverbal communication fosters deeper connections because it shows a willingness to be present and emotionally aware. And don't forget, it works both ways. Your nonverbal cues also communicate a lot about your intentions and feelings. Confidence and approachability resonate far more through your body language than through clever conversation alone. Active listening is one of the most powerful ways to show someone you care, and women notice this kind of attentiveness immediately. When she's trying to gauge your interest, she'll look for signs that you're fully engaged in the conversation. Are you paying attention to what she's saying, or are you zoning out? Are you responding thoughtfully, or just giving generic answers? These subtle observations can make or break how she perceives you. Women might test your listening skills in small ways. For instance, she might bring up a story she told you previously to see if you remember any details. If she shares that she loves a specific band and then casually mentions they're playing in your city, she's not just rambling about upcoming concerts. She's dropping a breadcrumb, waiting to see if you'll pick it up. Your ability to respond with genuine interest and retention can go a long way in showing her that you value what she has to say. Another way active listening makes its mark is in responsiveness. Picture this. She tells you about a stressful day at work, mentioning how her boss piled on last-minute tasks. A simple, "That sounds frustrating, but it's impressive how you handled it," shows her that you're tuned in and empathetic. Responses like these aren't just polite, they're emotionally intelligent, and they encourage a deeper sense of comfort and trust. But listening isn't just about the words you say. It's also about your body language. Nodding occasionally, maintaining steady eye contact, and leaning slightly toward her all signal that you're invested in the interaction. Conversely, checking your phone, scanning the room, or giving half-hearted replies will likely communicate disinterest. Stay present, and she'll not only notice, it'll strengthen the connection forming between you. Above all, remember that active listening is about making the other person feel seen and valued. When someone feels heard, it lays the foundation for trust and connection. And honestly, no grand romantic gesture can compete with simply being emotionally present in the moment. Connection isn't built in grand, sweeping moments. It's built in the little things. Women often use small, intentional gestures to foster a sense of familiarity and closeness. These might not feel like grand declarations of interest, but they're often deeper indicators than they seem on the surface. For example, she might start a low-pressure conversation just to open the door for interaction. Instead of jumping straight to emotionally loaded topics, she could ask about the last movie you watched, or mention a quirky, shared experience. These tactical but casual questions pave the way for more meaningful exchanges, giving her the chance to see your personality and conversational style come through naturally. Sharing personal anecdotes or stories is another way women build trust. Perhaps she tells you about a childhood memory or a recent trip she took. These aren't just casual details. By opening up, she's inviting you into her world, even if it's in subtle, bite-sized portions. How you respond, whether you engage with curiosity and share something of your own or keep the conversation flat, will shape the energy of the interaction. These subtle gestures perform a balancing act. While they create the opportunity to deepen a connection, they ensure that engagement feels effortless and light rather than forced or heavy-handed. You can build on these moments by making your own small gestures, like bringing up something she mentioned weeks ago, or suggesting activities that align with her interests. The more these back-and-forth exchanges flow naturally, the more comfortable and connected she'll feel. Ultimately, connections aren't built overnight. They're crafted through these seemingly minor, cumulative signals of care and mutual understanding. Pay attention to the subtle ways she engages with you, and show her that these moments don't go unnoticed. Here's a critical truth. Nothing kills potential like overthinking. When faced with the subtle cues women send, the temptation to analyze, every word, movement, or glance can quickly spiral into self-doubt or confusion. But here's the deal. Romantic interest doesn't need to feel like a detective game. If you approach interactions with authenticity and calm confidence, your natural charm will win out over any attempt to solve her intentions. Women often send subtle signals because they value natural chemistry over manufactured outcomes. Overanalyzing every interaction, like questioning whether her laugh was just polite or whether her choice to sit next to you was deliberate, can lead you to miss the bigger picture. Remember, subtlety isn't about making you work hard. It's about making the experience feel organic for both parties. Instead of trying to decode every move, focus on being present and responding authentically. If she asks for your input, give her your honest thoughts rather than worrying about saying the perfect thing. If she lightly teases you, don't overthink her motives. Just laugh and engage in the moment. When mutual interest exists, these small moments will naturally lead to larger, more obvious indicators of attraction. Overanalysis also runs the risk of making interactions feel forced. If you're constantly on alert, trying to figure out what her next move means, you might unintentionally drain the playful, light energy that makes early connections enjoyable. The key is striking a balance between awareness and relaxation. Trusting your instincts will keep things authentic, and people are naturally drawn to those who feel comfortable in their own skin. At the end of the day, meaningful relationships aren't built on puzzles or perfect interpretations. They thrive on genuine connection. By focusing less on deciphering every cue and more on just enjoying the interaction, you'll create a space where both of you can be your best selves. Understanding the subtle ways women gauge interest is more than just decoding attraction. It's about developing deeper emotional intelligence and fostering stronger, more meaningful connections. These signals, whether they're quiet compliments, playful touches, or casual conversations, serve as building blocks for something greater. And the better you are at recognizing and responding to them, the more authentic and rewarding your relationships will be. The most powerful takeaway is this: women's subtle cues are less about creating mystery and more about preserving a sense of balance and mutual respect. By fostering awareness without overanalyzing, you create an environment where natural chemistry can shine through. Responding with attentiveness and confidence not only strengthens your bond, but also ensures that both people feel safe and valued. It's worth emphasizing that no one is perfect at reading signals all the time, and that's okay. Attraction and relationships are as much about learning and growing as they are about finding the right person. Missed cues can happen, but what matters most is your willingness to engage with sincerity and openness. By paying attention to the subtler language of connection, you're not just becoming better at dating, you're becoming a more attentive, emotionally intelligent individual, and that's something people will pick up on in more ways than you know. Stay present, stay confident, and don't forget to enjoy those small, unspoken moments. They're often the ones that mean the most.